Okay, guys, so we stopped off saying that Peter um, picked a pickled pepper. Those all have the p sound, okay? Now, let's go to number 8. Words like buzz, squeak, sneeze, drip, and ring, those are all examples of good onomatopoeia because those are all sound words. Excellent, guys. So let's go ahead and go on to our guided practice. So here's the part in the lesson where you can actually pause the video and you can go ahead and begin to do it with either a sibling or your parent. If no one is around, you could go ahead and do it yourself, and then we can do it together once you pick back up the video. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and begin. So now we're going to begin identifying alliteration and onomatopoeia in an actual poem, okay? So we know that when we have a poem, we have to go ahead and mark up our poetry elements. So first I am going to label my stanzas, stanza 1 and stanza 2, okay? And then I'm also going to go ahead and label my lines. This is going to help with some of the questions for my guided practice. Okay, so if you don't take the time to like label and underline your elements, it's going to be really hard for you to actually answer the questions. Okay. That keeps happening. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and begin reading so we can pick out more of our poetry elements. The door went creak in the still of the night. The floor went bump. Oh, what a fright. So night and fright actually rhyme. I'm going to underline that. The grandfather clock made a chime. We turned down the hallway and heard a loud crash. So many sounds surround this space. It seems that someone had dropped all the trash. So crash and trash are words that rhyme. And I don't see any repetition, so I can actually move on to my questions. We're actually not going to write a gist for each stanza because that's not what we're really looking for. So we're going to go and skip right to the questions, okay? Number 1. What poetry elements are represented in the poem above? So, and then, guys, we have to make sure that we notice that it says choose to, okay? Now, I can go ahead and automatically eliminate a few choices to kind of get down to it. The question asks for poetry elements. So I'm going to get rid of some of the elements that are not really included in poetry. I know that dialogue is something that's included in stories, so I can automatically eliminate that. Something else, like even though poetry has setting, that's not the best choice that we want to choose for a poetry element because there are other poetry elements that are in this poem. So setting is not the quite poetry element that we want to choose here. Now, we're between rhyme, rhythm, and repetition. Now, I know that words rhyme because I underlined them. So I know that rhyme must be one of my answer choices. Now, I don't see any lines or words that repeat, so I'm actually going to eliminate repetition. And when I was saying the poem, I was saying it in a beat or like a rhythm, okay? All right, now let's go to number 2. This is what I was talking about when I was saying it's very important to label and pick out the poetry elements so that questions like this can be very easy. It says, how many lines and stanzas are in this poem? So I see that I have 2 stanzas and 8 lines. This A says 2 lines and 8 stanzas. That's not right. B, 2 stanzas and 8 lines, and then C, 8 stanzas. This is not 8 stanzas. That would be a really super long poem. So our answer choice is B. Good. Let's continue learning. And then 3 says, which line contains alliteration? So that's what we just learned. So I'm going to circle alliteration because that's what I'm looking for. Now, I know back in my board equals paper that alliteration is a word or words that have the same sound, okay? So it says line 8, line 2, line 7, and line 5. I'm going to go back to all of these lines to figure out which ones have alliteration. Line 8, let's see. It says, it seems that someone had dropped all the trash. None of those words actually have the same sound besides seems and someone. So I don't really think that that's a good example of alliteration. So I'm going to eliminate that. Line 2 says, in the still of the night. Okay, so none of those words have the same sound. So we can eliminate that. Remember, it's always best to eliminate choices so that you can get down to the right choice. C, line 7. So many sounds surround this space. They all have the sound. But just to check, let's go to line 5. The grandfather clock made a chime. None of those words really have the same sound, so I know that my answer must be C. Okay? And then number 4, which sound device is used throughout the poem? So first of all, the question is actually giving me a hint because it says sound device. So I know that the 2 types of figurative language that have sounds involved is alliteration and automatopoeia. So I can go ahead and eliminate C and D already. Okay, let's go ahead and move this up so you can see this. I'm going to eliminate C and D already. Okay, we haven't even talked about hyperbole, so that wouldn't even be a choice. So I know that it's either between alliteration or automatopoeia, so I need to go back up to the poem to figure out which sound device is used. So it says the door went creak. So creak is actually a sound word. That would be automatopoeia. In the still of the night, the floor went bump. Okay, there's a sound word. That's automatopoeia. Oh, what a fright. The grandfather clock made a chime. That's a sound word. We turned down the hallway and heard a loud crash. That's a sound word. Okay, good. So it seems like the only line that has alliteration is 7. All of the rest of the lines pretty much have automatopoeia, those sound words. So it must be B. Okay? Good. So let's continue on. So now, guys, here's the time for your independent practice, okay? I had so much fun, like, going through alliteration and automatopoeia with you. So for your independent practice, guys, this is the time for you to shut off the video and for you to continue working on your own before you do your exit ticket, okay? Don't just go straight to your exit ticket. You want to try to practice first and then try to have, like, a parent or someone grade your paper to see if you're on the right track. Remember what we went over. After you're done with your independent practice, go ahead and click on that exit ticket and submit it so that you can get your grade. All right, guys, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Have a great day.